friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to review two wildly different books that I read over my winter break. I have a graphic novel and then I have what I'm going to call like a children's book. So let's go ahead and start with the children's book first. So the first one, I heard about it last year and then I kept forgetting the name of it and kept forgetting to request it from my library, and I finally remembered it and got a hold of it. It's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackey. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, because I'm going to be honest, this cursive writing is a little bit hard for me to read. But basically, a coworker of mine right around Christmas last year told me about this book and was like, it's basically like a Winnie Pooh type book. Like, you've got to read it. I'm buying it for my wife for Christmas. And I was like, okay. And then I forgot about it. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but I will agree. I do find it very similar to like Winnie the Pooh. Like, it gives me Winnie the Pooh vibes. Basically, it's focused on a boy, a mole, a fox, and a horse. And it is a story, but it also is sort of like these little vignettes, like these little lessons that are woven in. You know, it doesn't have like a set story structure. Like, it's not like reading a traditional children's book where you have a beginning, middle, and end. It is more like these conversations, these little snippets of conversations that the boy has with each of the different creatures that he befriends and comes into contact with. And over the course of the book, he like meets them at different points and like they kind of become a group, a little posse together. You know, and over the course of the book, he ends up like acquiring each one of these creatures in his life, and they kind of become like a little posse. You know, the boy starts out very lonely and then he befriends each of these creatures, and along the way they teach him things and like help him sort of be okay with who he is. And I think it's interesting in the storytelling in the sense of like you're just getting snippets of their conversations, but the snippets come together to form a pretty cohesive story, which is interesting. Here's an example. What do you want to be when you grow up? Kind, said the boy. And I will not lie, the cursive writing can be a little bit dicey to acclimate to, and the images are like very simplistic. If you haven't seen this, there's not a whole lot of color. They almost feel like just sketches, like rough draft sketches that he went with, but I'm cool with it. Like, it fits into the aesthetic of the story, and I just liked it. It was one of those books where you can appreciate the simplicity of it, but there's a lot of power behind what is being said. Like the boy saying, I just want to be kind when I get older. Truthfully, we need more people who just want to grow up and be kind in this world. So I definitely think it's a book that kids should read and have read to them. And if I had children, I would want to own this book. I don't think it's like the most amazing story start to finish ever, but I do think it has some bits in it that are just like feel good. And if you're looking for a nice 10-minute feel good vibe, go ahead and pick this book up. On the other hand, I have a wildly different book called Nimona, which is by Noelle Stevenson. This is a graphic novel. After I finished reading They Called Us Enemy, I was really craving, especially over winter break, I was craving wanting to read another graphic novel, at least one. Like, I was looking to try to maybe just read a few full books start to finish, and graphic novels are perfect for accomplishing that. So I ended up looking at an NPR article that was like 100 graphic novels that everyone will love or you should read, something like that. And there was only a couple on there that I actually felt compelled to want to read, and one of them was this. Basically, the premise of this is that we have this central character, Nimona, who is this little gingy gal here in the middle, which you guys know I'm gonna like a ginger main character, and she is a shapeshifter. But unlike typical shapeshifters, she has really advanced shape-shifting abilities, and she has a really dark past or backstory that comes out in snippets throughout the story, but she comes onto the scene because she decides that she wants to be the sidekick for a villain named Lord Ballister Blackheart. And this is basically like a futuristic medieval world where there are heroes and villains, but there's this like government that works with the heroes and they fight against this villain Blackheart, but there's sort of like this undercurrent agreement that, you know, Blackheart can do X, Y, and Z and we're not going to be too hard on him. It's sort of like an unspoken agreement that they have with this villain Blackheart. And we have the hero who is Sir Ambrosius Goldenloin. And interestingly, what I liked about it was that Blackheart is a villain with morals. He has like a moral compass. Like I was saying, there's that agreement between him and Goldenloin about how far Blackheart can take his acts of villainy and all of that. And Nimona doesn't have that moral compass. She is just in a world of villainy all on her own. Kill people? Sure. Kill anyone in your path? Absolutely. Don't look back, have no regrets? Yep, check it off. Like, she operates under the code of like, I'm a villain, so I can do whatever I want. And Blackheart really doesn't believe that. And so he tries to teach her while also learning about her past and working with her on her past. And I just think it was a really like different type of story. As far as the illustrations go, I felt like they were fine. I liked the color. I really liked all of the color, especially coming off of They Call Us Enemy, which was entirely black and white. I appreciated the color, but I didn't feel like the illustrations were all that compelling. Like, they were very simplistic with backgrounds. You know, it's more focused on the dialogue in here. And I have to say, I read it in a couple of days. I couldn't read it in one fell go. But when I got to the end, I found myself like really wanting a sequel. I don't believe a sequel exists. In my hunting around on the internet to find out more information, it sounds like this is going to be a TV series. If I'm recalling correctly, I think it's going to be on Disney Plus. I could be making that up because that was supposed to be happening around 2015 when this was first published. And I think it's finally now getting its like movie or TV traction. I don't really know. But it doesn't mean there's a sequel for this. I thought it was really just a different take on this idea of being a villain. And I like the idea of her having a jaded past and struggling with that and trying to figure that out. And I just thought it was fun. Like, I just overall thought it was a fun type of graphic novel. Very different from the past like handful of graphic novels that I have been reading as of late, but I enjoyed it. It was some good fictional fun. So that is it. That is just a dip into the pond of what I did during my winter break. If you have read either of these, I'd love to know your thoughts below. And I'm still kind of craving reading of more graphic novels. So if you have any recommendations, fictional or nonfiction, please leave them down below in the comments. I so enjoyed chatting with you today about these, and I look forward to being able to read more books and give you more reviews in the near future.